Some clients can just come to the studio and they say they wanted to take one picture. That was the plan. And at the end of the day, you see somebody come with a box. So it can be crazy. That was not what you planned for. The client may pay more, but wasn't the initial agreement. So how you now respond or react will now determine if you are ready to grow beyond that level. Mind you, your staffs are also watching how you react to your customers.
Immediately you own a business, this boss vibe comes on you and you feel like you should not be accountable to anybody in the office. So everybody is accountable to you, but you are not accountable to anybody. So even when you are dying, nobody is going to know. When the business is dying, even the staff will not know, right? So you should check, are you running practices that are killing the business by yourself? If you are applying for grants and some license, they will not even give you if you don't have a board of directors. That means they will ask you, are there people that are checking what you are doing in that business? If you don't have, they won't listen. It's not like I'm a good person. No, that's not it. Because they too, they understand. So as business owners, if you want to grow your business, you need to get to a point where you will draw an accountability line. That even you too, you can have 10 million and you will not look at it that my sister wants to do wedding and you remove 5 million and you send it and you say you are the boss.
I've had challenges that would have made me to drop down on my business. I wouldn't have done it again, but going past that challenges have made me to get to a bigger level than where I was when I had those challenges. So I think if you know what you're doing and you keep doing it, you'll be able to sustain your business.
If you have contributions, to this regard, you can bring it in and then we can have further discussion. You get so sustainable business practices, as we know it, there are actions that helps organizations operate responsibly while balancing economic success, environmental projections and all of that. So, and when we talk about sustainable business practices, we are looking at key practices that helps businesses to grow, to stand out. And when we bring it to the reality now, there are things that we do daily that helps our business to strive. For me now that I'm into interiors, sometimes I have to go to the office, to my office. That's the site. Site is my office. I have several boys that are working under me, and then when we go to the site, probably maybe the client says, this ceiling, I don't like this design. Can you change this design? Probably you've gone beyond that level of the framing, and then the client is complaining that, okay, no, I don't like this thing anymore. You have to change it. For you now, you can imagine the time spent, the hours, the working hours, and probably expenses that has gone into bringing the ceiling to that level. But the client now says, oh, bring it down, change it. Doesn't matter how much how much it will cost, but they are still going to pay you for it, but you have to just do it. Now, there are two things there. You can either be angry and say, we've gone this far. Or you can just say, okay, and just do it. Now, the way you respond to that client will determine how her reaction or his or her reaction would be. Whether they are going to come back to you next time, or next time they'll be like, this person doesn't know how to work under pressure, or this person does not know how to, you get that kind of thing. So now, for some other people, they'll just say, keep your job. There are some contractors like that. Just take your money, keep your job. How much is your money? I will refund you because of the stress. So these are little things like that for you now that is into photography. I believe there are some things that some experiences that you've had with clients. Some clients can just come to the studio and they say they wanted to take one picture. That was the plan. And at the end of the day, you see somebody come with a box filled with clothes, came to come and shoot. So it can be crazy. That was not what you planned for. Probably maybe the time that you guys had planned was 2 hours or 3 hours, and you end up stretching beyond that time. The client may pay more, but wasn't the initial agreement. So how you now respond or react will now determine if you are ready to grow beyond that level. And also, mind you, your staffs are also watching how you react to your customers, so that they will also learn that, okay, so in cases like this is how we are meant to respond. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So in context, bringing out the keynote, environmental sustainability We have social responsibility, ethical governance, sustainable supply chain management, sustainable products and service design. I think that's where our tech bro comes in. And the Kiva Tech too also comes in, and then from there we'll now look at the benefit of sustainable business practices. So I'll take the first key points: environmental sustainability. Key sustainable, these are part of the sustainable business practices. Environmental sustainability is reducing energy consumption through efficient equipment and renewable energy. This one is for government and this thing. Minimizing waste through recycling, reuse, and circular economy. Conserving water and all of that. This one are just basic key points that are under this thing. But where I would love to dwell on is the social responsibility, and then the technical governance. The technical governance, actually, most times you see them in organizations where you have to now deal with transparency and accountability for you as the leader. Probably maybe you want to do some certain things, and then probably maybe a client walks in and you are trying to negotiate how much you charge the client for it, and your staffs are there, and you are saying, okay, this job is going to cost you 1.5 million to do it. Your clients are your staffs are there, people are there, and all of that, and then you said 1.5. At the end of the day, you did the job for probably 800,000, and your staffs were the one, they know how much it costs to do some of those things and all of that. So this helps people to be able to trust you as a business owner and be able to vouch for you, because most of the job, if you notice nowadays, most of the jobs that people get these days are based on referrals. Nowadays it's not really online, not I don't think they are. Even this year alone, I've gotten any job from ads. Like, people still get from ads, but most of the times now is referrals. Like, a good paying job that you probably may come from referrals. It's not like ads don't work. Ads still works, but most times referral. So how you responded, or how you did your business transaction with this person will determine how this person would relate to this person. Oh, you can work with this person. Oh, don't worry, you don't have a problem. Everything is sorted out, and all of that. Currently, right now, there was a client that we finished executing his project, and then he was complaining that there were some holes on the ceiling. These are things that normally the screeder will do when they finish painting, and then everything will come out really, really nice. But he wasn't comfortable with it. He had paid for the job. We had executed the job. That was the only thing that he was complaining about. We had to go back to go and do it. This time now, he didn't pay for those extra transportation costs and all of that. But we just had to do it because of customer service. Like, let's just make sure that this thing was done well. From that job now, he referred us to somebody else in Port Harcourt to go and do the same job for the person. Just because of that, the reaction. Imagine if we said, no sir, we've done this thing now and all of that. It wouldn't have happened that way. So, and then he was complaining about the cost price, that how much did we charge him for the job? How many materials did we charge him for the job? How many materials did we bring to the site? And now for site workers, I'm using my own as an example. For site workers now, probably maybe you buy material for 16,000 naira. Definitely when you are charging your client, you won't charge your client for 16,000 naira, because you are the one getting the materials. You want to also make money from that end. So you're probably charging in 17,500 or 16,800 to make something for yourself, which you tell them, okay, this is your price. It's a different thing when you say this is the price than this is your price. So this is your price. Is like, if you cannot work with this my price, no problem. You can go and work with somebody else. But this is the price. It's like you are telling the client that even when you go to the market, that is the price you're going to get. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So things like that also helps businesses to grow. Maintaining transparency. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're welcome. Should he introduce himself before we continue?
Let's introduce himself.
Okay.
All right. So my name is Christian Nakwe. I'm a businessman.
Straight to the point. No stress. Straight to the point. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. So I was just sharing with us about sustainable business practices. You know, so in summary, basically things that we do on a daily that helps our businesses to grow. You know. So, and I was on the ethical governance, which has to do with transparency and accountability for your business. And then the second one is implementing anti-corruption and ethical business policies. This one is actually straightforward: protecting customer privacy and data security, establishing responsibility sourcing and procurement standard, regularly reporting sustainability performance. I think this sustainability performance, I would like to highlight it because there are a lot of businesses that don't know how to account for the daily runnings of the business. Now, if you are not good with accountability, your business will not grow. It can never grow if you don't know how to account. It's that bad that there are sometimes your business can be that big if you've not started learning how to account for your business from scratch. Now that the business is on this level, when it gets to this level, I'm telling you, those guys, what do they call those people that do accountants? But now, yes, auditors will use you to play ping pong. Yeah, so it's very, very important that you learn how to account for your business, the incomes, the daily runnings. I think there's something called a cash book. You know, like you can have a cash book that affects your daily expenses. Oh, this is how much we spent today. This is how much we spent on generator. This is how much. Sometimes some people might think that it's actually you trying to be stingy or something, but it's just a way of you accounting for what came in, what went out. That's, if you look at the bank structure, that's how the bank structure is. What came into your account, how much went out. When you now want to print your statement of account, they'll tell you the entire month, this is what came into your account, and out of that amount that came in, this is how much left. It will help your business, it will help you to be able to study your growth level probably every month and every year, how your business has been able to grow from the level it was. You can attest to it that Cubatech now, for example, when Cubatech started and now, the daily expenses then and now, if you check the marginal distance, is so far. Now you're considering fuel, you're considering lights, you're considering...
You're not considering fuel.
Nice one. You're considering, but you're still buying lights. But then you probably may not be considering light because you are working from home. So the only thing probably you'll be spending on is internet. You get, but now you're even spending more on internet because of the cost of living now than it was before. But if you are not accountable to those things, then it will be hard for you now to be able to do those things. So it's very pivotal that we take note of accountability in terms of having to take track records of how we spend and all. And then I think the last one I would want to highlight on is sustainable product and service design. Designing product with longer lifespan. You know, what will I use as an example now? There's this saying that you don't prepare and wait for the market. You don't prepare and wait for the market. You prepare. How do they put it? There's just a way it's put. You don't prepare. You prepare for the market that is in existence. Like you don't prepare your own and wait for the market, because sometimes your own might not be what is in vogue at that time. For example, now everybody in Nigeria depends on fuel. True. Everybody depends on fuel because it's fuel that we use to boost the economy. That's how we size the economy and all of that. And from there, all this petroleum and everything, that's where we get our gas and all those things from. So Nigeria is solely dependent on that. So that's like, if somebody that is in that line of business, give or take, the person can never say he's broke. If you're in that line of business, you can't say you are broke, because why will you be broke? Money must always come in. People would always buy fuel. People will always buy gas. For example, people might not necessarily, there are some people that may not necessarily wear new clothes as often as they would cook. Somebody must always eat. You must always eat. So like the food business now, people would always be in business. But now the question is now how attracting is your business? What are you doing that sells the market, that makes people want to buy from you instead of buying from Mr. B? So that's actually how where the product design now comes in. What are you doing that makes solar? What are you doing that makes your business stand out? So these are the points on under designing products with longer lifespan, products that that stands out, products that makes your business stand out basically. For example, now iPhone, there's iPhone. I think from inception, there's the first iPhone I knew about was iPhone 5, then 5S, iPhone 4 that had that this thing. But over the years, see the transitioning process, and then see the product that they've been putting out. No matter how you try to put it, iPhone will always stand out from Samsung. Samsung has its own design, UI, and all of that, but iPhone would always stand out. Why? Because of their uniqueness. And whether we like it or not, there was a time we were arguing that the price was going to drop. The price never dropped. A new iPhone comes out now, you'll be hearing 1 point something million. A new Samsung comes out now, you'll be hearing almost same price. But the iPhone still stands out in terms of their products, in terms of their services, in terms of the processor speed and everything. You can actually tell that, okay, an iPhone is way different from a Samsung. True or true? Now, what then now makes people go for Samsung? The Android this thing. Some people say, oh, iPhone is overhyped, they prefer to use an Android phone that makes it easy. The user interface is a lot easier to navigate than the iPhone and all. So I said that to say this: if I want to sell a shoe, I rather sell a shoe that is in demand than a shoe that I will have to market for people to buy. People nowadays in Nigeria prefer to buy something that is easy to access, that they can afford, than going for something that will take them long time to gather the money. Imagine you want to use 100k to buy a phone, and you can get that kind of phone for probably like half the price or almost half the price. You rather go for that phone than go for the one that is around 100k, because now they are giving you the same service, the same quality, but just that one now is selling the brand, the other one is selling the quality, but probably is not known, like Hisense TV. There are some TV that are really good, but they are not that known. But Hisense, because they've made a name for themselves, they can tell you buy it for 550k, but because of the name, that is what you would buy. You understand? So I think with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that we should take you said what? That we should engage with sustainable business practices that will help our business stand out. Thank you very much. All right. Over to you.
So it's still over to everybody actually now. So I think he has really explained some things to us. It's important because it's overlooked. Many businesses overlook this particular sustainable, and at times the difference between a business that stands and a business that doesn't last, I think, is just this normal sustainable practices, right? Basic thing they are supposed to do. An instance, for as little as maybe getting a particular contract. If your books are not in a particular way, I don't think you'll be able to get some particular things. Your books are not. So you may see some of these particular practices as though they are not things for you to take note of. But the thing there is that on the long run, depends on where you're going to, something may come that you will now be affected. An instance, let's assume you had a quantum leap in your business that's supposed to take you from, let's say, normally growth supposed to be you're making 1 million, next month maybe you can make 2 million, 3 million. Then one quantum leap now comes that takes you to a place of having access to up to 20 million instantaneously. That's more or less like a quantum leap. Now, if you don't have sustainable business practices, the matter there is that it can actually affect your flow. So I think it's actually a timely topic that will actually help us. So the room now is open for us all. I would love for us to contribute. We've seen. You are free to ask questions. We'll just have a bit of discussion. You are free to ask questions and then contribute also, so that all of us will share from our wealth of knowledge on this, and you can use practical examples also to make us to further understand, so that at the end of everything we will all know how we can have better sustainable practices in our businesses, because I think he talked on different things. He even talked on the fact that your employees are watching you, and that one is very, very much important too. Something that you may easily do yourself, and maybe raise leg for a particular client. When you know that your employees are watching you, at times you will not want to do in that particular way, because they will most likely act the way you are going to act. So, to some extent, I think, let me give it open. Though, does anybody have anything to say?
Thank you so much, and I want to just contribute on it. It spoke on accountability. You see, a lot of businesses are doing well. A lot of people are making money. But if you look at the structure of their business, you find out that the owner of the business is the reason why the business is not progressing. I was speaking with somebody and he was talking about how he wants to scale the business and open another branch. And when we went through his record, because you need to get to a point where you need to be sincere with yourself. When I started my company, I got to a point where I had to restrict myself from the account. Till today, I don't have access to the account. You need to get to a point where you tell yourself that, no, I'm the problem. As the owner of this business, I've discovered the problem, and it's not village people, it's me. Yes.
Yeah, true.
And I just so much love when he was talking on it, because I was also just reflecting on it. Because there is this culture, especially in this part of the world, that immediately you own a business, this boss vibe comes on you, and you feel like you should not be accountable to anybody in the office. So everybody is accountable to you, but you are not accountable to anybody. So even when you are dying, nobody is going to know. When the business is dying, even the staff will not know. So I think that accountability factor as a business owner is something that you should hold with your life, right? So you should check, are you running practices that are killing the business by yourself? You need to, that's why you see some, if you're applying for grants and some license, they will not even give you if you don't have board of directors. They won't give you. That means they will ask you, are there people that are checking what you are doing in that business? If you don't have, they won't listen. It's not like I'm a good person. No, that's not it. Because they too, they understand. So as business owners, if you want to grow your business, if you think long term for your business, if you think, oh, I want to scale this business into millions, into billions, you need to get to a point where you will draw an accountability line. That even you too, you can have 10 million, and you will not look at it that my sister wants to do wedding, and you remove 5 million, and you send it, and you say you are the boss. You have
She was saying you boss.
You want to show yourself.
I'm saying this thing because it's natural to me. It's something that, when he was saying it, I was just smiling in my mind, right? But if you now get to that point, and you now put structures in place, that even the same way I would tell my boy in the office that don't touch this thing, you will not touch it.
Yeah.
You too, you will not touch it. And that's one thing I love about Igbo people. I don't know if that discipline occurs to them naturally. Some of them, right? They have a way of also being the boy in the business. That there's no oga of. I came from a Yoruba land. That thing is like that pride they give us to drink. Once a Yoruba man own a business, if you enter, you know that this is the owner of the business. Because there's this way that is not under anybody. Do you understand? So that's accountability. Then he spoke on another thing I want to talk about. But me, I would term it loyalty. But when he was speaking on it, he was talking about attitude towards the boss when he was giving an example on selling. Loyalty. If you want to build a sustainable business, you must know some customers that are worth your loyalty. That you not be doing laws with them. Principle. This is my principle. I don't take that. No. For the sake of some customers, you will know that no, this one I can't do this kind of principle with you. This is a loyal customer. When I was in Kogi, there's one of my man that used to buy clothes and stuff from. Even now that I'm still in Abuja, if I want to buy something, wristwatch, I will call somebody, help me and go to this guy, go and buy. Because there's a way his loyalty is, you can't take it away from us. It's already in. We've already extended. It's beyond paperwork business.
Yeah.
So as business owner, you must also learn to transition your business to that loyalty base where people can now trust, like you were saying about this TV branding and all of those things. It's a kind of loyalty that is being sold. Right? It's a loyalty that is being sold. And the last thing I just want to add from my own end is that you must, as a business owner, if you want to succeed, you must add branding to your business. A lot of people believe pricing can help business, but I don't know. But in my own opinion, I think if you are competing for the lowest price, you leave the market soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
My own opinion, Sha.
Yeah.
If you think it's by pricing that you're going to ask, then you now make your own the lowest. You will leave the market soon.
The bottom.
Yes, because check successful company. Are they successful because they are selling the least price? That's what I ask myself. Are they successful because they are selling the least price? Is Gucci successful because Gucci is the cheapest?
No.
Is Coca-Cola successful because Coke is the cheapest? So that pricing of a thing, I think you should, maybe if you want to hold on to it, but then I think you should focus more on branding. Branding is, what does my product represent to the people? What does my product represent? A lot of people are using iPhone today. They don't even know what they are holding. But we can't deny that iPhone tends to command some kind of attention. Either you say iPhone is overrated or anything, but iPhone or Samsung commands a level of attention. There's a way, so imagine, please don't take this too personal. Imagine as I'm staying here now, you just see me with 17 Air. Be sincere. Would that not send something to you? Be sincere. So even if it's fake life, you will think that like say this guy, there's a level. So that means to branding there's class.
Yeah.
So while you are competing with prices, other people are competing with branding. There was a time that some of my guys, they were advising us, let's drop down our pricing, let's drop down our price. And I checked our competitors, the biggest competitors we have. I said, look at the price these guys are selling for. It's even times two of our products. But people will still prefer to buy from them, right? Because they already have the branding, they already have the name. So I think to add branding to your business. So that's just my contribution.
Nice one.
Everybody will talk.
Nice one.
Oh my god. I was not expecting.
The mic came to you.
Okay. I think business resilience is one thing again that can either affect your business or make it grow or make it calm down. A lot of people, or let's say a lot of things affect businesses, like economic factor, your competitors, and a lot of other unforeseen circumstances. And you now as a business owner, you can, maybe because there are so many people doing the same thing and are more successful than you, can just decide that you want to quit or you want to change to something else because that particular business is not moving well for you. Now, if you do that, you're not being stable in your business, in that you jump into something else again is going to like cut off your growth, starting all over again and all that. So I think even though we face challenges in business, we should be able to overcome those challenges and just keep moving on and see where it goes and bring in other avenues to succeed. Like I've had challenges that would have made me to drop down on my business. I wouldn't have done it again, but going past that challenges have made me to get to a bigger level than where I was when I had those challenges. So I think when we are able to, face our challenges, even as the way Nigeria is now, the economic and everything is just so discouraging. But if you know what you're doing and you keep doing it, you'll be able to sustain your business, I think. So
Ta-dum.
Yeah, set the template of
Thank you very much. I just want to ask him some questions. When you were speaking about the aspect of branding, quite right, about maybe looking at your competitors and seeing that they put it at this particular price and you could also match them. But one thing I'm also looking at is that those, for example, those companies have made a name already. Because if I were to give an example of, let me say, like Viva or Danomic, if you could remember how they came in the sense that their product was as good as those that were already topping it, but they came in with a reduced price so that they could have that household name. And if you check currently now, their pricing is virtually the same thing with all others, and you don't have any other choice but to still stick with them because you know that they are also good and their price is still fair. It's still the same thing with others. So because one thing we also have to look at is that you also have to start somewhere first. Your price could be low a little bit, but make that name first. Then you could match it with others and you will always still have that loyal customers. Even like the example you gave of Apple. Yes, Apple is still a brand, iPhone is still a brand on its own. But lately there have been a lot of complaints that since when they lost their former CEO, Steve Jobs, there's not been really much innovation. The innovation have majorly been on their MacBook. So that's why they've made some changes now to their new CEO, bringing somebody to do some kind of changes. So I still think that maybe to a large extent, if you know where you are going to, you can start at a reasonable price where you know that you will not be at a loss. Then make that household name. So I still think that depending on the product, there are some products whereby you might have to start, your price may have to be lower than others just to get some kind of market share, then move higher. Then there's still some other industry or products whereby you might just have to match it for what it is, especially if you have to break even. Thank you.
power. I think this point you brought now, I think our boss said can even contribute more on it.
All right. This is actually a very wonderful class, I must say. Like, when I got the invitation, I never expected it to be this amazing. So it's actually a great one. Kudos to the speakers so far. Anyways, I would prefer to listen more and learn today. Actually, for today, I would prefer to listen and learn more. Yeah. So our brother here said something about branding. So I don't know. I would like you to throw more light into that branding because I would want to get out some, aspect of branding, because I believe there are angles to it, right? So I would want to get that more. Like, does it just have to do more on price or your product? Because there's an aspect of branding I feel is for manufacturers. You understand? There's an aspect of, like, when it comes to controlling maybe a product or brand, how it's gets to the market, how it's being distributed and all of that. So I think in that aspect of branding, all right, I feel it's the maybe company owners that have the bigger strength to determine that. I don't know if you are getting the point. So I would want you to make more emphasis on that, because there are also people that do more of they buy product, they sell. So there are things they really can't control. Yeah. So
All right.
yeah.
I get what you are saying very well.